The restaurant was everything Victoria Ashford expected: elegant, discreet, and dripping in quiet luxury. Gold sconces glowed softly against cream walls, and the low hum of conversation mingled with the gentle clink of crystal. It was the kind of place where the city's elite negotiated million-dollar deals between bites of perfectly cooked filet mignon. At 36, Victoria Ashford was the kind of woman who commanded rooms like this. CEO of Ashford Enterprises, a luxury hotel empire worth over $3 billion. She had built her success from ruthless discipline, brilliance, and sheer willpower. She was used to the best of everything, from champagne to conversation. But tonight wasn't business. Tonight, her best friend, Monica Cruz, had talked her into something Victoria had sworn she'd never do: a blind date. "You work too much," Monica had said. "You need someone who gets you, your world, your schedule, your ambition." So Monica promised her a man who was successful, refined, and from a family like hers. In other words, another heir to a fortune. Another man who would admire her success until he felt threatened by it. Victoria sighed as she adjusted her cream blazer and silk blouse in her compact mirror. Her golden hair fell in perfect waves, her makeup subtle but flawless. She looked like the picture of composure. Yet inside, a part of her braced for another polite, disappointing evening. The hostess appeared. "Miss Ashford, your party has arrived." Victoria looked up and froze. The man walking toward her was not wearing a designer suit. He wore jeans, a brown pullover, and an expression of nervous politeness. But what truly caught her attention wasn't him. It was the little girl holding his hand. She couldn't have been more than 5. Her dark hair was tied in uneven pigtails, and her pink dress looked like her best effort for something special. "Miss Ashford?" the man asked cautiously. "Yes," Victoria said, puzzled. "And you are—" "I'm Lucas Bennett," he said, his smile a little unsure. "And this is my daughter, Maya. I think there's been a mistake. I was told to meet someone here for a blind date, but my babysitter canceled last minute, and I couldn't leave Maya alone." Victoria blinked. Her elegant evening suddenly felt like a scene from the wrong movie. He wasn't from her world. He wasn't the heir Monica promised. He was a single father with a child on a blind date, her blind date. She opened her mouth to explain the confusion when Maya tilted her head up, big brown eyes full of curiosity. "Are you Daddy's friend?" she asked. He said we were meeting someone nice. "Are you nice?" Victoria felt her stern expression falter, and to her surprise, she smiled. "I try to be," she said softly. "Maya," Lucas groaned. "You can't just ask people that." "I'm so sorry, Miss Ashford. This is clearly a mix-up. We'll get out of your way." "Wait," Victoria said before she could stop herself. "Who set up your date?" "A woman named Monica Cruz," Lucas replied. "She's a social worker who helped me with paperwork when I became Maya's guardian. She's been trying to set me up for months." Victoria's eyes widened. Monica Cruz. Her Monica Cruz. Her best friend. "Oh, my God," she murmured. "She set up my date, too." Lucas frowned. "So, she matched us by mistake?" Victoria gave a wry laugh. "Knowing Monica, it wasn't a mistake at all. She thinks I'm too focused on success. This is exactly the kind of thing she'd do to teach me a lesson." Lucas chuckled, a warm, genuine sound. "Well, I don't want to be anyone's lesson plan. We'll go—" "Stay," Victoria interrupted. "Please." She went through the trouble of making the reservation. Let's not waste it. Maya's face lit up. "Can I sit next to the pretty lady?" Lucas sighed, embarrassed. "Maya." "Of course you can," Victoria said with a laugh. And just like that, dinner began. Lucas apologized again, but Victoria found herself oddly at ease. He was easy to talk to, intelligent, thoughtful, humble. He didn't brag about achievements or connections. He asked questions, real ones, and listened. He told her he was a freelance graphic designer, working from home so he could care for Maya. The money wasn't much, he admitted, but it gave him time, and that mattered more than anything. Maya was bright and fearless, asking Victoria everything from whether she owned a castle to if she'd ever met a princess. When dessert came, Maya smeared chocolate on her nose, and Victoria laughed harder than she had in years. It felt human. "Can I ask how you became Maya's guardian?" she said gently. Lucas's smile softened, but his eyes grew distant. "She's my niece. My sister was a single mom. 2 years ago, she died in a car accident. Maya didn't have anyone else. I was 29, working 80 hours a week at an ad agency. Suddenly, I had a 3-year-old who'd lost everything. So I quit. I started freelancing, moved to a better neighborhood, learned to braid hair badly, and built a new life for her." Victoria's throat tightened. She'd built an empire, but she'd never built a life that meant something like that. "What about you?" Lucas asked. "Monica said you run hotels?" "I own them," Victoria said. "My father founded Ashford Enterprises. I took over when he retired." "That's incredible," Lucas said, genuine admiration in his voice. "No envy, no intimidation. But it must be exhausting." "It is," she admitted. "Everyone wants something. I can't remember the last time someone talked to me like a person, not a CEO." He smiled. "You are a person, Victoria. You just have an extraordinary job. That's not who you are. That's what you do." For a moment, neither spoke. Maya yawned, her head resting on Victoria's arm with trusting innocence. Victoria froze, then smiled, stroking the girl's hair. "She likes you," Lucas said quietly. "I like her too," Victoria whispered. By the time they stood to leave, Victoria felt an ache she couldn't name. She didn't want the evening to end. When Lucas reached the check, she waved him off. "Dinner's on me," she said. "You can thank me by letting me see you again." Lucas blinked, surprised. "Even though I'm not the heir Monica promised you?" "Especially because you're not," she said with a soft smile. "You're real, Lucas. You and Maya both." Outside, his modest sedan looked small among the Bentleys and Rolls Royces. He strapped a sleepy Maya into her car seat, then turned back, hesitant. "I had a wonderful evening," he said. "So did I," Victoria replied. And as she watched his car disappear into the city lights, Victoria realized something had shifted inside her, something she hadn't felt in years. That night, she called Monica. "You are impossible," Victoria said, though she was smiling. "There never was a business heir, was there?" Monica laughed. "Nope. You needed someone different, someone real. Tell me I was wrong." Victoria hesitated. "You weren't. But what if I'm not good enough for them, Monica? What if I don't know how to be part of that kind of life?" "Then you'll learn," Monica said gently. "That's what love is, Vic learning to be human again." Over the next few weeks, Victoria's life began to shift in ways no one could have predicted. It started with small things. A message from Lucas asking if she'd like to join him at the park. A picture of Maya proudly showing off her finger-painted masterpiece. A shared coffee on a park bench instead of a boardroom table. For the first time in years, her schedule wasn't dictated by meetings and investors. It was guided by laughter. At first, Victoria fell out of place. The park was filled with parents in casual clothes, their hands sticky from ice cream, their conversations revolving around nap schedules and preschool drama. And there she was, the billionaire hotel magnate in designer jeans and a silk blouse, awkwardly pushing a swing. But then Maya's delighted shrieks filled the air, and Victoria's laughter joined hers. She felt ridiculous and free. She started meeting Lucas and Maya regularly, at the zoo, at children's museums, even at Lucas's modest apartment for homemade pizza nights. It was nothing like her world of 5-star restaurants and rooftop galas. Yet, somehow, this felt richer. Lucas's apartment was small but warm, the walls lined with Maya's drawings and colorful design sketches from his projects. He'd let Maya help him sometimes, giving her old markers to doodle next to his tablet. Victoria learned quickly that Lucas was talented. His work was creative, his attention to detail remarkable. One night, as they sat on his couch while Maya watched a cartoon, Victoria studied one of his logo designs and said, "You know, this could easily be featured in one of my hotels." Lucas chuckled. "I think your board might faint if you hired a freelancer from Maple Avenue." "Then they'll have to learn how to faint gracefully," she said. Their worlds couldn't have been more different. Yet they fit in quiet, unexpected ways. Lucas grounded her. He reminded her what mattered. And Maya, in her innocent wisdom, taught her how to love without fear. She'd climb into Victoria's lap with her favorite storybook and say, "Read it like Daddy does," or slip her tiny hand into Victoria's during walks. Each moment softened something in Victoria that she hadn't realized had hardened over years of ambition. Her employees noticed the change, too. She smiled more. She left the office before sunset. Her executive assistant whispered once, "You seem happier lately, Miss Ashford," to which Victoria could only reply, "Maybe I finally remembered what happiness feels like." Her board worried she was losing her edge. Her competitors whispered that she must be preparing to sell the company. But the truth was simpler. She wasn't losing her edge. She was finding her balance. 3 months after that first dinner, Victoria invited Lucas and Maya to her penthouse for the first time. Maya's gasp when she stepped inside was priceless. "It's like a castle," she squealed, running from room to room, her little shoes tapping across marble floors. Victoria laughed, her heart swelling as Maya flopped onto the huge sofa, declaring, "I could sleep right here forever." Later, after a simple dinner that Lucas had helped her prepare, pasta and garlic bread, nothing like her usual catered meals, Maya grew sleepy. Lucas carried her to the guest room, tucked her under a soft blanket, and kissed her forehead. When he returned, Victoria was waiting on the terrace, the city stretching out in golden lights beneath them. "I need to tell you something," she said quietly. Lucas's expression shifted. "Okay, when I first saw you that night," she began, "I wanted to send you away. I thought you were the wrong person. For a moment, I was disappointed." Lucas nodded, waiting. "But then Maya smiled at me," Victoria continued softly, "and I saw the way you looked at her, with so much love. And I realized I'd spent my entire life chasing an image of success that never included happiness. I built an empire, but forgot to build a life." Her voice trembled. "You gave up career advancement, money, everything, to love her, to show up. That's more than I've ever done for anyone." "Victoria, I'm falling in love with you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "With both of you, and that terrifies me. I don't know if I could be what you and Maya need. I'm not maternal. I work too much. I travel. I've never even had a real relationship that lasted." Lucas stepped closer, his eyes steady and kind. "Victoria, Maya and I aren't looking for perfect. We're looking for real. You've shown up for us every day since that night, and that's what matters." "But what if I fail?" she whispered. "What if I disappoint her?" He took her hand and kissed it gently. "Then we'll work through it. That's what families do. They try, they forgive, they keep going. And just so you know, I'm not wealthy. I can't give you the life you're used to." "I don't want wealth," she said, tears in her eyes. "I want warmth. I want truth. I want to come home to something real. You and Maya gave me that." Lucas smiled. "Then I guess Monica really is a genius." She laughed through her tears. "Don't you dare tell her that." That night, as they stood together overlooking the city, Lucas wrapped his arms around her, and for the first time in years, Victoria felt completely safe. Not because of power or money, but because someone saw her, the woman beneath the empire. They married 18 months later, in a quiet garden ceremony. Maya scattered rose petals down the aisle as the flower girl, her giggles echoing through the air. Victoria's business associates were stunned that she'd married a freelance designer with no fortune or pedigree. Lucas's friends worried he'd be swallowed by her glamorous world. But both were wrong. They built a life that honored both of their worlds, elegant and simple, powerful yet grounded. Victoria still ran her empire, but she left the office for school plays and bedtime stories. Lucas continued his design work, now with the freedom to choose projects that inspired him. And Maya, bright, joyful Maya, grew up surrounded by love. She called Victoria Mom the day before her 6th birthday, and Victoria cried harder than she had the day she signed her first billion-dollar contract. Their life wasn't perfect. There were late nights, missed flights, and messy mornings filled with spilled cereal and laughter. But it was real. Sometimes, the greatest blessings come disguised as mistakes. As a mix-up at a restaurant, a canceled babysitter, a woman expecting an heir and finding a father instead. And sometimes, the love we never planned for becomes the one that changes everything. Victoria often thought back to that night, to the elegant restaurant, the little girl in the pink dress, and the man in the brown sweater who walked into her world and turned it right side up, because that's what Lucas Bennett had done. He hadn't rescued her from loneliness. He had taught her to rescue herself. And together, they built something no empire could ever match. A family, a life worth living, a love that was real. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and comment below. Sometimes the best things in life come from the plans that go wrong, and from the people who show us what love truly means. Red Heart,